Okay, Russell, thank you so much for joining us today for Community Quotes. If I can have you say and spell your first and last name for us.
Thank you for having me. My name's Russell Cormier, C-O-R-M-I-E-R.
Very good. And this is a second installment of Community Quotes, so
Correct.
we're just going to continue kind of where we left off last year on our Community Quotes segment. What I'd like you to do is describe for me a typical day in your life.
Typical day.
Yeah.
Ooh,
You wake up and what happens?
Get up at 5 a.m. and smell coffee. I love coffee. Drink some coffee in the morning. I pray, I read my Bible. I try to read it every morning, get some inspiration on life, and I go to work.
Mm-hmm. Where do you work?
I work at the city of Broussard.
Okay. What do you do
cut
there?
grass.
You cut grass.
And other stuff. We do a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
But my main job is to cut grass with a weed eater. I weed eat.
Oh, wow.
And I've been doing that almost 15 years now.
Okay.
Been there. I used to work at a boys' home raising foster kids.
Oh.
I did that for 13 years also.
What was that like?
It was great. 2 of them still follow me. They work with me at the city of Broussard. I met them when they were little kids. They were like, one was 13 and one was maybe 14 or whatever. And now they're grown men with their own houses and their own families. And who would have thought?
Well.
Yeah, who would have thought they're married? And yeah, they got this, and they still follow me. Sometimes they pesky, but I love them.
Did you enjoy that, being a mentor to someone?
It was great. It's addictive. You know, you don't see it when you're inside. I saw it back in retrospect after they closed the group home down, and you know, and I wasn't working there anymore. I saw more of it then, but I saw a lot while I was inside too. You know, and you become addictive. My kids used to ask my wife when she was alive. They used to say, "Where's Dad?" "Oh, he's with his other kids, his other family." You know, and we became a family because we used to do things with them that their parents didn't do with them, and sometimes invite them into our lives to be part of our lives, to show them what family was. You know, so yeah, it was a cool experience. I dug it.
Good.
Yeah.
Did you show them some of your musical, talents as far as songwriting?
Yeah, we used to take them to tips. Some of them were aspiring rappers, you know, all the young kids today, they want to rap. And when Tips was open downtown, we used to take them to Tips and let them get in there on a microphone and learn how to work Pro Tools and different things like that, you know, learn the video stuff.
Right.
All kinds of, whatever, Tips had to offer, we brought them down there. And, some of them were pretty musically inclined. They were pretty good,
Yeah.
And then they liked me as a musician. They didn't. Our languages are confused, so they don't understand some of them our music, and like we don't understand theirs.
Right.
They could put on a song and I can't understand not one word, and the same thing, with me, I can, and they don't understand it. It's just because it's just different cultures and it's different. It's nothing bad. It's just different.
What type of music do you like to listen
to? Reggae music is probably my favorite music, but as of lately, this is where this change is coming along, is because now I'm at this change point in my life to where I want to stop and show people that I'm not just a reggae artist. I'm just a musician. I'm just a guitar player, rhythm guitar player. I'm a songwriter who writes any kinds of song of any genre of music. When we grew up here in Lafayette, we didn't have reggae radio. We didn't have we didn't have R&B radio. We had rock and roll radio. So I grew up listening to rock and roll. So rock and roll is a big part of my life. I mean, I grew up listening to it, and I've incorporated rock and roll into a lot of the music and the things that I do. And I like ballads. Of course, I like funk because I grew up in the 70s listening to Parliament and the Isley Brothers and Bootsy Collins, stuff like that. I want to, the well-roundedness of my listening, I want to put into this next album that I'm doing in playing, in writing, my writing skills. I'm fresh off of the Solo Fest came here this year for the first time.
Right.
South Louisiana Songwriters Festival.
Okay.
And they invited me. I was a part of it, and I was so I was like, wow, me, little old me. And I found out that I was somebody here. Oh, really?
What is Solo Fest?
Solo Fest is South Louisiana. It's a songwriters festival.
Right.
Where songwriters come from all over. There were songwriters from England, New York. They were from all over the place. And they come here and converge, and it's like a retreat. So it's like a whole week of us getting together all day long. We get together early in the morning. We have breakfast together. We pair off in groups, and we go write a song. 3 people, me, you, and Jacob. We never met before. And we go sit down and we'll write a song. You play country and western, I do reggae, Jacob does rock and roll. And the 3 of us write a song together.
Well, I bet that would be interesting.
Yeah, that's what we did. And then we perform it that night.
Nice.
And we performed at different venues. We performed at Dockside the first night, the Warehouse, another night, what's the place? Carpe Diem with the piano in front
Right.
one night. The church one night. Wow, I did reggae in the church. That was cool. And then we did the festival on the Saturday. But it was cool because I met songwriters who do this professionally every day. I go to work, I cut grass. These people go write songs.
Yeah.
And they invited me to go in their world, and it was cool. It was something that I love to do, write songs.
Yeah.
And so I learned a lot about writing songs from that.
You can make some good connections.
And I made some good connections.
Probably get inspired from new people. Right?
I got inspired. The Love album, my new album, the first single we released not too long ago is doing pretty good.
What is the name of the song?
It's called Feel So Good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on iTunes, Spotify, it's everywhere.
Right.
The videos on YouTube. And of course, the videos on AOC somewhere. And the first single did real good. But every song on the album is going to be about love.
Okay.
The album before was called Opposite People. It was real dark because we were going through dark times. And I was going through some dark times in my life. The world was going through some dark times. And so the album came out dark.
Okay.
And so I kind of sat down after I went to the Songwriters Festival and stuff, and I said to myself, you know, we owe it to the world not to give in to this hate thing, because a lot of people, you know, they continually hate every day. But we, as human beings, should try to show love for the people who try to show love back to us. We owe that, you know, to each other, to show love and not to be like these people who hate, because if we do, then we're just like them.
Right.
And so I said, you know what, I want to do something about love. And so every song, I talked to my producer, Chad, and he said, Russ, that's a great idea. And so we've been working on that ever since. And every song of different genres, all about love. And it's great, because the world, the system doesn't want me to be sitting here, a black man, and you a white lady interviewing me, and I'm of importance, and be like, why is this white lady interviewing this black man of importance? That's the way, the mentality of the world, the hatred of the world. And they don't want us to live together. They don't want us to live together, black, white, Chinese, whatever, Mexican. You know, they want us to continue the war, to hate each other so that they can live in peace. Right. And I think that's real sad. So it made me sad. And I wrote that dark album about it, the real sad album. So I said, you know what? It didn't work. It worked, but it didn't work. So my new weapon is love. So I'm going to write every song about love, and that's going to be my weapon against all this hatred and all this foolishness of the world, because it's only a small portion that's doing it to the masses of us who really just want love and peace, but they're more powerful than us.
Right.
Because they have more money, they have more media, they have more,
right,
you know, than us. So we got to use whatever little strengths that we have, and we got to try to make it our strength.
Yeah,
make love our strength.
Very uplifting, and I think that's a good inspirational message to send and to put out there to the future generations.
Yes, exactly.
Who are some people that were a positive influence on your life?
My mom and my dad were like the closest, because they were hardworking. You know, they were sons and daughters of slaves. You know, and they told me that story and how they came up, and it would make me sad, you know, to hear you know, some of the things that they did, but they did the things that they did so that we could have, as children, we were a lot of kids, 11 kids. And they did the things that they did so that we could have a better life than they had. And I tried to do the same thing, you know, with my children. And my mom and my dad, you know, they were great inspirations to me. My wife, Stephanie, she passed away. She was the picture of love. She just, everybody loved her.
Oh.
You know, she was just, she took care, she was like everybody's mom. You know, she would bring kids home from the school and different places and be like, look, babe, this is the, who is this now, Stephanie, that I gotta feed? You know, she'd bring people to the house, but she was, you know, and, you know, sometimes you don't see it when you're in it. You have to, sometimes we got, sadly, sometimes we got to lose to learn.
Yeah.
And to win.
So is she the motivation behind this, the Love album?
And she's the motivation behind everything I do these days. And yes, she's one of the motivations. She, and like I say, the state of the world. The state of the world, because they don't want us to love each other. And we should. We should love each other. If a person, no matter what genre, no matter what race, no matter what, loves you, then you should love them back. If they're kind to you, then you should be kind to them back. If they respect you, you should respect them back, you know? I think that's what we should, if we, first of all, treat everybody as human, man, woman, and child. First and foremost, treat everybody as human. The rest will work itself out. Yeah, that's the bottom line, and that's what's not being done a lot of times. Is we're not treating each other as humans. We're not looking at each other as human beings and as people. We're looking at each other as objects or materials, or, you know, we're looking at each other at the wrong thing, you know, through hateful eyes. And so, yeah, so I'm on that love trip, you know.
Well, good. And it sounds like that's going to be a really good, positive album. And it's nice to see that positive message out there. Russell, what is your idea of happiness?
Whoa. I've never been happy my whole life. I tell people that all the time.
Oh, come on. You said you're 58 years old. You had to have, even if it's just one happy day, or what was a happy moment in your life?
I have happy moments. Drinking coffee, I like coffee. I like coffee.
I'm looking for more than that.
Yeah. Seeing my grandkids, that I would live long enough to have grandkids. I had a young, crazy juvenile life. You know, I was not the most lawful person in the world.
Okay.
You know, but I survived it. I survived the addiction days of drugs and alcoholism. I still drink, but I mean, I'm not an alcoholic. I drink socially. But I survived those things, and who would have thought? Russ got grandkids. Yeah. Yeah, I got 2 girls, 2 grandkids, and I love them. And, you know, to see them happy, and my kids, to see my kids grown and living on their own and doing their own thing, that's one of the most beautiful things in the world, I think, for a parent, you know. I'm so proud of them. I hope they see this so that I can tell them I love y'all, and I'm proud of, you know, the things that the people that y'all have become, and how my oldest daughter raises her kids and how she takes care of her life. That's a great thing. She's the only one with kids. And I think that's for me, that's my happiness. And besides that would be making other people happy through music. If I could write one song that would make the whole world sing, that would be the ultimate happiness for me. Sure. Yeah, because I mean, I'm a songwriter. That's what I do. Yeah.
If you could change anything about yourself, what would you change? If anything at all.
Today I'm pretty peaceful, and I think God has granted me peace on all sides from my enemies. You know, I love my life now, you know, but I would change some things about my past, maybe. You know,
You have a few regrets?
Yes. Yeah, I would undo some things. And then we go back to that woman again who drives my life from heaven or place where she is. You know, I would undo some things, you know, that I did that, you know, But I mean, it was just all part of his plan and all part of his thing. You know, I like girls. You know, and I'll just be real about it. You know, sometimes, you know, men say, oh, well, you know, I like her, but that's them. And me, I'm just different. I like girls, and girls like me. So I try to deal with that like that, you know, and try to be fair and respectable, you know, to, you know, women and whoever I was dealing with or am dealing with, you know. And I think at times, you know, I just wasn't pretty fair, you know, to my wife. So if I had to change some things, I would go back and probably change some of that. But I mean, as far as today, like, I mean, I'm cool. I like this peaceful place God has put me in. I'm not rich, but I'm rich with peace. A guy asked me the other day, he said, I was helping him with something, and he said, I said, is there anything else I can do for you? He said, yeah, if you got a couple of $1 million, you know, you could give me, you know, a couple of $1 million. I said, no, I ain't got $1 million, but I could give you some peace of mind if you got that. I'm rich with that. You know, I like peace was important for me to attain after mourning, because I mourned way past the mourning period.
How long ago had your wife passed away?
Almost 10 years.
Okay.
And it's still like yesterday.
Oh.
So, you know, so I mourned way longer than, I mean, it was just, we had been together since we were kids.
Oh.
When I met her, I was 16, she was 14. And
what attracted you to her?
She was funny. She used to run home, her and her brother, every day after school. And I tell my partner Spence, we would stand on the corner every day. That was our little corner spot where we do our little thing. And I said, Spence, them people run home every day when they get off the bus. What is they running for? And I found out later on when I, you know, got into the family, they were running to see who get home first to eat. So the other one wouldn't leave the other one.
Like food.
The other one, no, the other one, the first person would lock the second one outside.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, and would be eating in the window while the other one was inside looking. So, yeah, so, and then that just got my attention. I said, why does that little girl run every day? And so I took her to the store, and that was our first date. And I bought her something to eat to the little corner store in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And that's how it started. So, you know.
How did you ask her to marry you?
I don't know. I think she made me marry her. No, I'm serious. I think she did. We were like friends and, you know, like really in love with each other, like intense, you know. You know that they call that puppy love, but this was like this was like pit bull love. Yeah, you know, a little bit more than puppy.
Yeah.
And I think she just said, hey, we're going to get married. If I remember right. Now, old age is catching up with me here, but I think that's what happened. And anyway, I think I said yeah, because I was scared. I was like, okay, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
And, you know, I wasn't quite ready. I won't even sit here and lie. I wasn't ready, but that's what she wanted to do. You know, sometimes us guys, we got to do what a girl want to do.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I did it, and we had our trials and tribulations and our ups
Every
and
couple
downs.
does.
But when we got it right, we got it right. And it was cool, and it was smooth sailing, and it was beautiful. Yeah, it was beautiful. Yeah.
What is the best piece of advice you've ever been given? Or what advice do you like to give to people?
The friend of mine's dad says it best. Just do what's right. And I like that saying. And so I try to pass that on to people. His dad says that all the time, tells that to them. And he'll tell me, he said, you know, Russ, my dad always says, just do what's right. And I think that's, like I said, that's part of treating a person as human, or treating life, you know, the way it's supposed to be treated, doing what's right. Or at least having it in your mind to want to do what's right first and foremost, you know. So I think if I had to tell somebody, to give somebody some advice today, I would just tell them to just do what you think is right. Because sometimes what you think is right and what I think is right, and I think this is why he says that. He says that because my right, your right, it's not the same.
Right.
You dig what I'm saying? the world tries to teach us from all the same book. We can't learn from all the same book. Because we're all different human beings, you know, we're different people. So we each need our own teaching, our own bit of advice to give or to take. And so I think when he says that, it covers all the bases. That's why I like it. Because when he says, just do what's right, or what you think is right. And I think that that's one of the best sayings that, you know, I could think of. It sounds simple and but you know, if you really think about it, it's saying a lot to do what's right, because it's not that easy as you think.
Right.
You know, because we're pulled and swayed with so many vices today.
Well, and there's so many opinions out there, especially if you're on social media or someone is growing up. I feel bad for teenagers, really, because I think there's a message of confusion out there, and you know what is real and what is not, what they see on social media. I want to go back to your first Community Quotes interview. That you said something that really stood out. That as a child, you saw this white light, and you said periodically throughout your life you see it. What do you think that light is? I mean, do you believe in the supernatural? Do you think that it's something from another spirit, or?
I get chills sometimes. I think that my wife still lives in my house with me, because I still live in the same house. And sometimes when I hear noises and stuff, I'll be like, Stephanie, what do you want? One time I was talking to her and I thought it was her. It was my air conditioner went out. Costed me some money. I should have said, Stephanie, you should have warned me and tell me that the air conditioner was going. Maybe she was trying to tell me.
Yeah.
And sometimes, you know, I think that, you know, we not alone. I feel not alone. I live by myself most of the time, but I'm never lonely. I'm always like in company of something, of some feeling, something, you know, I get chills at certain times and feel, you know, and I mean, that doesn't just come from, something has to cause that, you know, for you to feel like that. And so I don't want to say supernatural, because I don't know what supernatural is. You know, I try not to touch on things that I don't understand and I don't know. But I know there's something other than man that runs my life. I pray. A lot of people don't believe in God. I pray, I ask God things. It happens. Not many people can say that. I ask him, you know, with a good heart and a good conscience, God, can you help me with this and help me with that, you know? And I mean, sometimes it might take a while, but sometimes it happens like right away. You know, and I think it's because he just knows my fate. He know I believe. I believe in something that I cannot even see. Yeah, and I don't know what it is. I can't see it. It's that white light or whatever it is. I dream a lot. And I think in these dreams, messages in these dreams, but I'm no prophet. I can't figure them out. And so I kind of just write them out. Like I told you about that philosopher who said that dreams are like extension of your life. You'll see these things that happen in your dream one day. Well, I hope so, because I had a lot of dreams.
What do you dream about?
Violence. I'm always in weird places, like I'm captivated by some, or I'm a captive, like I'm being threatened, or I'm being captured, or it's weird. It's just like, it's always weird dreams. I'm always in weird places. Sometimes I'm playing music. Sometimes I'm in dark places most of the time. Most of the time I'm in dark places. And it's like, I'll see faces, but then I won't see faces. And a lot of times the stuff that I see in the dreams, sometimes it'll come back and happen to somebody in real life, but it wasn't the person that I saw it happen to in the dream. So I can't figure out dreams. That's one thing I've never been able to figure out. And I can't say I like them or I don't like them, but I know that, you know, sometimes they're nightmares, most of them. You know, they're like, some of them are horrific. They're like real bad. They call it cauchemar, bad sleep. That's what it means in French, I think. They say, the old people say cauchemar, but it means cauchemar, which means bad sleep in French. And you have like the devil is like choking you. He's trying to kill you in your sleep or whatever. And I have those like dreams or something. I don't know what they mean. I have them.
I don't know either.
Yeah, and they tell you pray, start praying, try to get him off you and different things. They say, another person says much activity in your day, through much activity of thinking or doing in your day will cause you dreams.
Yeah.
Everybody has like different, you know, like you said, opinions. There's so many different opinions of what dreams really mean, but no idea. I wish I had somebody to interpret mine.
Yeah.
I wish I could remember them to tell them to somebody so they can interpret them. Because I can only remember them, I guess as I get older, I can only remember them in pieces. You know, I don't remember them like, you know, piece for piece. Yeah, but still dreaming. So I'm still, it's just beautiful to wake up in the morning. You know, it's a great day.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, let's continue with the dream. If you could spend one day in someone else's shoes, that's a hypothetical question, but who would it be and why?
In somebody else's shoes. I'd walk in both my grandkids' shoes because sometimes you want to walk your kids through life for the mistakes that you made. And I remember one time I was at a baseball game and I watched these adults acting a fool. There was kind of was a little black and white thing. It was this kind of all white team against, you know, our team, mostly black team. I think we got a couple of white kids on our team, but anyway. And, you know, I watched this game one day and there was almost a big fight break out over a call. And I watched my grandbaby start crying. And because, oh, she got a soft heart. You know, they say she got a soft heart. You know, the old people say. And I wish that I could, you know, toughen her up. I could get inside her shoes and I could, you know, and say, look, this is how you're supposed to do it. You know, like this. You know, because I got a soft heart too. But I got the best of both worlds. I got a soft heart, but I can be a handful too. You know, and so if I had to walk in anybody's shoes, I'd just like to walk in her shoes just for a while, just to show her the ropes until she gets to where, because you feel for them and you wanna hold their hands through life.
Sure.
You don't want them to have to endure some of this foolishness that goes on in the world right now. In school, you know, I think about them when they're at school or when they, you know, out in public and certain things, because the world's not, like you said earlier. I feel for teenagers. They're not even teenagers yet.
Right.
And so I feel for them, you know. I think that's where most of my emotion and feelings go. And I think that's why there's so much just love thing pouring out of me now, is because, you know, I want, you know, like kids to see we can love. We don't have to do the hate thing. One of the things that happened a long time ago in the world, and I don't know when the world came to that, you had to be bad to be good. You remember that? You remember when the world flipped that switch?
Yep.
That switch ain't never flipped back. It's never flipped back. We need to flip that switch back to good is good and bad is bad. You know, if they say, oh man, that's bad, man, they really mean that that's good. You know what I'm saying? And if you're good, oh, you're a little goody two-shoe. You know, and you're no good. Girls today, they want the guy that's bad, you know, the bad guy that, and I guess that's, you know, a tough guy, somebody that can protect them is okay. But to a certain extent, you know, we need to flip that switch back, or switch the flip.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Russell, we live in Acadiana, and a popular saying here is laissez le bon temps rouler, let the good times roll. How do you like to let the good times roll?
Glass of Hennessy, bottle of Guinness. Used to be herb. I had to stop smoking.
Okay.
Yeah, I wish I could when I hit the that age, that retirement age, I will smoke again. Oh, yeah, but haven't smoked in a while. But you know, a good spliff, some Hennessy. I keep it real. I'll tell the truth.
Love
some
it.
Hennessy and bottle of Guinness.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, pretty girl.
All right. Do you like to go out? Do you like to socialize?
I don't like socializing too much. I actually hate crowds of people. And people said, I don't understand that, Russ, you're a musician. And I said, but you know, a lot of times when I go out in the world, I used to tell this to Boozy all the time, I feel like one man walking against a million. Because my ideals are not the same anymore. I used to be that man walking with the million going that way. Now I'm that man going this way and a million people going that way. We have different opposite opinions about life. So I kind of like a quiet spot, you know, like a little chill, cool, quiet place. And I love movies. I cry. I still cry when I watch movies.
What are some of your favorite movies?
Oh,
if you had to
man,
tell
I
me
just watched
your
Boys
top
in the
three.
Hood the other night.
Oh, that's a good one. Is that your first time seeing it, or you've seen it
Oh,
before?
no, I've seen it before. I was crying watching NCIS New Orleans the other day when they were showing, because New Orleans is one of my favorite cities, when they showed that little kid, his dad had him selling PCP, and the two little brothers, the little brother, he was trying to take care of the little brother. That's all he was trying to do. He was a little foster kid. He was trying to take care of his little brother, and he was happy to see his dad back in his life, but his dad killed the foster mom and had him and his brother selling PCP. And the little brother, poor baby, he was so scared. And when they arrested the dad and they flipped him on the ground and they ran up to him, the cops, he put his hands in the air. Oh, and I started crying because that cop said, no, put your hands down, put your hands down. We didn't come here to arrest you. And he hugged him. And that was like, brought me to tears. That was, you know, I like stuff like that.
So yeah, you are soft-hearted.
Yes, I'm sorry. I cry doing movies. There's some, the Green Mile, I'll cry for the big boy.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna cry for him. So many movies. I've seen so many movies that I could go on about movies forever. I love it. That's like where I get a lot of my ideas from, is that when I'm not in writing season, right now I'm writing songs, but when I'm not in writing season and the songs are all written and the album is done, then I retreat to the television.
Yeah.
And I just watch TV. And I just, you know, and I get lost in a movie. Yeah, I like sports too, my football and basketball.
What kind of, okay. Who
Yeah,
are your
I play
favorite
ball.
teams?
The Saints, New Orleans Saints.
Yeah?
New Orleans Saints, LA Lakers.
Okay.
Yeah, I like.
Now, were you a Saints fan before they
when I was
won the Super Bowl?
8 years old, my dad bought me a New Orleans Saints uniform. Wish I still had that video. We used to have that little video on them reel-to-reel thing. You remember them little Super 8mm film? I had that uniform on. Chasing, we had a big white German Shepherd. He had came home. It was snowing.
Yeah.
His name was Snow. It was a Christmas day. And I had a Saints uniform, and I've been a Saints fan ever since then. Anybody who knows me, don't tell Russ nothing bad about the Saints.
Yeah.
No,
'Cause when I was growing up, being a
Orleans.
Saints fan wasn't popular because they would lose.
Oh yeah, the bags on the head. I
yeah.
went through all that. I never lost. I stood my ground, yeah, and I waited. And when we won that Super Bowl, did I dance in the living room? Did I dance? I don't even know how to dance. I got 2 left feet, but I dance.
Okay.
Yeah, I dance. And the basketball, you know, the Pelicans.
Yeah.
Anthony Davis. That's one of my favorite players. Yeah, I've been with AD since he got there.
Gotcha.
So I've been watching them. But I've been a Laker fan like for years. So following Kobe Bryant and stuff. I like good players. I just like if you're a good player, you know, I like LeBron. It took me a while. He grew on me. You know, he grew on me.
You mentioned a little earlier that you're a fan of New Orleans. What is your favorite thing in New Orleans?
I love the food. The food is different from here, and you know our food is good, and their food is good too. Yeah, and my favorite place probably is House of Blues, because I've been there. I've been to some good concerts there. Ziggy Marley, Steel Pulse. Shoot, I saw something else there. I don't remember, but anyway, I've seen some great concerts, and then I'll eat at the little restaurant. Bourbon Street. I've been going there since I was a kid, all my life. Me and my wife used to just take off big Wednesday afternoon or something. Babe, let's ride to New Orleans, and we just jump in the car and when we shoot out, we can go hang out on Bourbon on a big Wednesday afternoon and then we drive back that night.
Do you like to go to Mardi Gras in New Orleans?
Never been to Mardi Gras in New Orleans. No, I used to like all those things as a kid, like Mardi Gras and all that. But I've never been to New Orleans Mardi Gras. I used to like our Mardi Gras here. Yeah, I used to always party for that. I guess as I got older, crowds just kind of turned me off a little bit.
Yeah.
But when I was young, Mardi Gras was real cool. I like all of Lafayette culture. I think our culture is very diverse, and that it's a place where you could learn a lot about love and about people. You know, inside every culture, every place, you know, there's that hidden bad thing, racism and hatred. We know that, but you know, you kick that aside, and we go eat you some good food with some good people. You know, they dance the Zydeco every week here somewhere. you know, they're doing some foot stomping somewhere. There's a festival every other week.
Right.
There's always something going on here. It's a very diverse culture and a great place to raise a child.
It is.
A kid. You know, if you got children or family, this would be the place to live. You know, it's a lot of people, but still small town, favor, you know.
All right, switching gears just a little bit, do you have any fears or phobias?
Water.
Water.
Don't tell nobody.
Like you're scared
I
of
can't
drowning?
swim. Oh, hell yeah. I be dreaming about that. Sharks. I don't like sharks. Hey, just last week I was standing up in Biloxi on top of that thing at the hotel, and I could feel the water. I could feel the Gulf of Mexico. I was like, you know what, I'm getting off of this. You know, I called that like, I was like, whoa. Like I was in a boat, but I was standing on concrete on a balcony, a big old concrete balcony, and it was above it was the back of the hotel above the water, and it was like, man, water is massive. Water is a massive strength.
Well, you know, you're never too old to learn how to swim.
That's okay. The bathtub's good enough for me. That's good enough because I could jump out. You know? That's good. No, that's okay.
Okay.
And my son works offshore, so I don't know how he do it. He in the middle of the Gulf somewhere right now. Yeah. And I take my hat off to him. I don't know how they do it, but I'm scared of water. Okay. Yes. I'm scared of what God is going to do to me if I don't do the right thing, now that I've learned so much more stuff. I've read the Bible 3 times now, and each time I get more and more insight of what it is. Whether there is a great superpower above us or whatever, those are some of the great, whether or not there is, those are some of the greatest stories in the world. You got love, you got sex, you got violence, I'd be like, why do you read the Bible? I said, anything you want is in here.
Murder. Yeah.
Murder, you got everything. Yeah, you got everything in one book. And so the more I read it, then the more, you know, I couldn't understand it from one reading because I didn't have the right frame of mind.
What is your favorite passage from the Bible?
I like King David. Yeah, I like the stories of David and his thing. But then I've learned that, you know, I've started to like everything. I'm back in Genesis now, and I like Genesis. I like the story of Moses, Joseph, the story of Joseph, all those different things that, like I say, it's intriguing. It's great stories. If anything, it's some of the best stories to get you, to make you heartfelt, you know, to make you understand what family is, what love is, what, you know, what you might have to go to war for, you know, what you might have to kill for. Yeah, it's going to make you understand that, and that everything, sometimes doing the right thing, remember we talked about that a while ago, isn't always the right thing. Doing the right thing isn't always what's right. You know, it's just doing what's right for you. Yeah.
Russell, where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Oh man, that's a good one. I like that because I'm 2 years into my 5-year plan. I'll make a 5-year plan.
Okay, what's your 5-year plan?
My 5-year plan started 2 years ago, and it's going to take me to 62. I got 3 years left. I'll be 59 coming up here in April, and I'll have 3 years left, and I quit working. I want my money from the government. Yeah. And I don't know if I'm gonna smoke herb yet, but I'm gonna probably work another part-time or something. But my 5-year plan was to take care of some personal things in my life, get all those affairs in order, work on my health. I've been doing okay. And work on my eating habits, because I'm greedy. I like to eat, and it messes with my health sometimes.
Sure.
Because diabetes kind of runs in our family a little bit. And to have all those things in order and to get to 62, and hopefully the government has my money and they can give me a 70% retirement check, and I can get the rest when I get 66. So that would be the 10 years almost, you know, that would be, that would be close to it. So in 10 years, I figure, hopefully still active. I used to play sports all the way up to probably when I was 52 maybe. Probably about maybe 4 years ago, I stopped playing sports, and it changed my health and it changed my life.
Sure.
Yeah, because I used to run a couple of miles every week, and I'd play I love basketball. I'd shoot 100 shots like Kobe, I tell them. So I'm going to the park, shoot me 100 shots like Kobe, and run me a couple of miles. And being a diabetic, of diabetic, you know, type, that family, exercise is one of the best cures for diabetes, and the right diet. And so I'm working on that, trying to get back into exercise and back into eating the right thing. But in Lafayette, man, it's so hard.
It is.
It's hard. They got good food everywhere, and everybody cook, you know, and I cook. So.
Do you? What do you like to cook?
Rice and meat and gravy. Yeah, that's the thing. Rice, meat, and gravy, a little corn, little beans or something. Yeah, I like to eat. So 10 years, I want to be healthy, still exercising, still walking on my own 2 feet, because in 10 years, I'll be 68. Still walking on my own 2 feet and taking care of myself, and still paying my own way through life and nobody giving me anything. I want to be still independent. Now I'm independent. I do my own thing, and I love it. I think it's the way we all should be. Yeah.
Well, we're nearing the end of the interview. Is there anything I didn't ask you that you would like to talk about?
Well, I would just like to say something.
Yeah.
I would like to say that you asked me to do this interview. This is part of love. This is what love should look like and should start like. You asked me to do this interview. I emailed you back, and you said, "Oh, you already did one." But you emailed me back and said, "Do you want to do another one?"
Yeah.
So you held me in importance, that I had something still to say that was important, and that's love. You know, you held me in that, and that made me say, I got the chills. That made me feel
gives me
good.
the chills,
and
too.
AOC is great at that, you know, at making, you know, me and other people too feel good and important in this community and in this culture. Like you say, we live in this Acadiana culture. AOC has helped me to live up to that importance in this culture, in family, in music, in being a parent. You know, it's a great thing. It's where love starts. Love starts with what you did. Because you could have just said, "Okay, Russ, you did one already, we got some other people," but you held me in importance, and I thank you for that.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, that's
Thank
what
you
I
for being
wanted to
here.
say.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Russ.
Mary.
Appreciate
And it
you.
was real nice to meet you.
You too.